Hi, I'm Bruce Juchnik of the Kosho RYU Kempo. The Kai was created for the preservation of the teachings of the late James Mitose. Kosho RYU Kempo as such, since it's being brought over to Hawaii in 1936 by Professor Mitose, has taken many changes. Kempo today has many different faces. In Kosho RYU, or in Kempo, as we know it today, many view it as a style or a system of techniques and movements. This was not the intent of Professor Mitose when he went to Hawaii in 1936. Also, this was not the intentions on the founder of Kosho RYU. The founder of Kosho RYU was a Buddhist priest by the name of Izan, or Kosho Bosatsu. What he did is he revived what they called the Shingon Ritsu sect of Buddhism. During that period of time in 1235 AD, there were great wars amongst the various different sects of Buddhism, and there were different philosophies. Warfare and conflict were created out of disagreement on how one would attain enlightenment. Martial skills as we know it today, or when we study martial arts, unfortunately many of us do not understand that it really was intended to be based upon the study of natural laws, the study of the body, the mind, and the spirit of man. Kosho RYU, as it is taught today, emphasizes these things. Unfortunately, what has taken place as time has moved on and is gone, karate, kempo, gongfu, many of these systems have taken distinct styles in which that many of these teachings have been lost. What we're going to do is I'm going to explain to you the philosophy and the art form of Kosho RYU, and also show you the differences between the Kempo attitude, the karate attitude, and the Kosho RYU attitude towards dealing in a self-defense type of environment and dealing with martial arts to begin with. First of all, we'll explain to you about the Shochikubai seal, or the seal pine bamboo plum. This seal is representative of all of the studies and the arts in Kempo. As you look at the seal, the first thing you'll see is you'll notice the octagon. This is on the outside of the seal. The octagon has several meanings and representations. The first representation of the octagon was the eightfold path. Right intention, right speech, right means of livelihood, right effort, right awareness, right meditation, right action, and right effort. The Kempo practitioner was to view himself in such a manner to where if anything took place in his life in a negative fashion, he must blame himself for this. Also, this gave the keys to a Kempo practitioner to where he could deal in conflict or deal with an opponent. For instance, if we were walking down the street and someone were to hit us, maybe it is because we used wrong awareness, wrong speech, and so on. These same elements would be utilized to prevent harm, and at the same time, if you wish to get close to someone to do harm, it is important to know about that individual so that we can blend. Fighting or conflict, whether it be physical or dealing with a mental conflict, again, we deal with the basic principles of blending. The octagon, the next thing we see with the octagon, is the first part of the physical arts. That is the escaping. The escaping arts were devised for the purpose of teaching one to avoid physical confrontation. The ultimate art is no body contact. This was made clear to me by Professor Mitose. If someone wishes to hit you, they cannot hit you and you have not hit them. This is the ultimate when it comes to the physical arts. The Octagon Pattern is utilized to where an individual can escape harm, not be hit, and at the same time know where his opponent will always be. And at the same time, defeat the opponent through robbing him of his senses, or should we say disorientate him. Next representation of the octagon, once it's raised upon the body, with the utilization of the octagon on the ground, gives us understanding of the meridians of the body, the muscular groups. Thus, this tells us how to strike, but at the other side of the coin, this also tells us how to take care of the body. This we do through the study of what we call Chatsu, or finger pressure massage therapy. At the same time, herbology is part of this study. Kosho RYU is a complete art form. The next usage of the octagon is dealing with weapons, weapon training. The use of the octagon with weapons teaches us a flawless method of weaponry, to where again the weapon never collides with another weapon. Instead, you're always manipulating body mass and your opponent's position. His weapon becomes at that point unimportant. The Shochiku by seal, as you see, the top position or the hand position represents the study of right and left. These are hand positions which represent, the right hand represents the physical, left spiritual or morality. Again, we must understand that Kempo is not a style. It is a study of these things, of natural laws. The first representation of the praying hand position, or Kigen, represents prayer. To take time to pray that one does not have to deal with conflict and that no conflict takes place in one's life. Of course, this can only be done through practicing this. Next representation, again, is the jumping, escaping arts. The third representation are the skeletal blows of the system. These are strikes that do damage to the skeletal structure. Kempo is a precise art again. Next hand movement, or hand position. Kaiushu, or the open hand. First representation is to look for the good in man. The open hand position, as you see, is a representative of what they would call Mount Fuji. And from a distance, the mountain is very beautiful, although up close you see its imperfections. And this is how we want to view man and deal with conflict. We look for the good, not dwell on the bad. Next representation, the push-pull arts, or the throwing arts of Kosho RYU. Today, there are many practitioners worldwide that are seeking out Kosho RYU to help enhance some of their throwing arts. Some of the Jiu Jitsu and Aiki practitioners today find much interest in Kosho RYU as far as the throwing. Again, it deals with basic understanding of conceptual knowledge of the throwing arts. Last, internal blows of the system. Again, utilized with the octagon, we'll know how to strike in which will do internal damage to the organs. Next hand position, the covered fist. First representation, the left hand represents spiritual or morality, right hand physical. We must keep the physical, or should I say, the overt technique held precious like a treasure in a pocket. We do not draw it out. We always maintain and have respect for our fellow man, and at the same time respect our art form. Next representation, muscular blows of the system. These are strikes to do damage to the muscular structure. We may either cause cramping of the muscle, or to an opponent that is not built as far as the muscle groups, we may do damage to the skeletal structure through these type of hits. Last, war arts. Kosho RYU practitioner would never draw his hands or attempt to hit another individual unless permanent damage was his intention. We go through a progression in the study of Kosho RYU. The philosophy is to do no harm. The philosophy is to understand ourselves. The philosophy is to understand others, therefore appreciate others. The Kosho RYU practitioner at the same time governs his mind to practice and to study all art forms. If we deal with it in a martial arts world, then we must maintain an open mind and study all things. This is important for us to really see natural laws and principles as they are. During this tape, you will be seeing many of these things and many of these concepts. Understand these things. One, it is more important to know when to move than how to move. These things were lost. My teacher, Mitose sensei, explained to me when I first met him that all of the old masters taught wrong on purpose. I didn't understand this at first. Now I do understand. What I understand is that through the training in the martial arts, a lot of us, and a lot of the so-called founders of new arts, have been lost in developing something or creating something for themselves, therefore calling those things perfect. Not understanding the essence at all, and that is, number one, is that man must remain humble so that he can see truth. Therefore, he must be free of ego. These are things that we all must learn to do in order to understand proper Kosho RYU. What we will do now is we will start showing you movement and technique to show differences when it comes to concept, theory, and movement. As you also view the tape, understand that there are a series of other tapes dealing with the studies and the entire system and curriculum as taught to the Kosho RYU practitioner. This also will enhance your other arts. Thank you very much.